Welcome back to my channel. I'm the Storytellawyer. I'm a lawyer and storyteller. I share real-life legal case stories to show that legal knowledge is fun and essential for everyone. You can find additional details of this legal case in the description below. Click share, like, and subscribe button for fascinating legal stories and updates. This video is meant for educational and entertainment purposes and not intended to provide legal advice of any kind. Storytellawyer will not be liable for actions taken based on the content provided on this video. Some viewers may find this story distressing. Today, I will tell you a disturbing story of a significant case from the civil tribunal involving Dr. Zhao, a medical doctor who was found not guilty of raping his patient, but not innocent, and most likely sexually assaulted his patient by penetrating the vagina of a 22 weeks pregnant patient with his penis without her consent. Yes, a 22-week pregnant woman. Not guilty of rape, but not innocent, and most likely sexually assaulted? Yes. Not guilty. Yet, but not innocent factually. The court found the doctor not guilty, but the acquittal did not equate to factual innocence. The civil tribunal found that he sexually assaulted his patient. Let's find out. Dr. Zhao, a general practitioner, allegedly performed a bimanual vaginal examination on the patient without her fully informed consent. Bimanual vaginal examination is a common procedure in gynecology to assess the health of the female reproductive organs. Generally, the patient lies on the examination table with her knees bent and feet placed in stirrups. The doctor inserts 2 fingers into the vagina. This allows the doctor to feel the size, shape, and position of the uterus and ovaries. Unlike this common procedure, the patient claimed that Dr. Zhao penetrated her vagina with his penis during the examination. She clearly distinguished between fingers and genitals. According to the patient's testimony, she lied on her side facing the wall while the doctor examined her from her back. She felt something go into her vagina, but it did not feel like fingers. She could feel skin-to-skin type contact. She could not feel a glove. This did not feel like fingers. The patient could feel the roundness of the object being inserted. It felt slippery and like it had a round edge. The object felt like a spongy sensation touching the walls of her vagina. The patient experienced a hot flush sensation, which felt exactly like when she and her husband make love in that position. At the 5th time she was asked to cough, it felt like the sensation of having sex. The patient could feel the sensation of the material of Dr. Zhao's slacks and could feel on her bare bottom a zip or something metal rubbing against her. The patient felt the object being inserted into her vagina and removed about 5 times. The key allegations brought against Dr. Zhao were: number 1, lack of informed consent for the examination. Number 2, no reasonable clinical justification for the procedure. Number 3, the examination was conducted for sexual gratification. Dr. Zhao denied all allegations. His defense argued that Dr. Zhao performed a proper examination and that the bimanual vaginal examination was clinically justified and that the patient had consented. After the Court of Criminal Trial found Dr. Zhao not guilty and acquitted him of the sexual assault charge, he sought to keep his identity confidential during the civil trial. Dr. Zhao's defense highlighted Dr. Zhao's mental health issues, arguing that negative publicity would harm his psychological well-being. The defense argued that his mental health conditions, including depression and suicidal thoughts, might worsen due to negative publicity. However, the civil tribunal did not grant the suppression order to keep Dr. Zhao's identity confidential. The civil tribunal found that Dr. Zhao did penetrate the patient's vagina without consent and performed the examination not because the patient needed one, but for sexual purpose. The tribunal concluded that it was comfortably satisfied that Dr. Zhao's zip being open, the wet stain on his pants and his attempts to hide his zip and the stain from the patient are supportive of a finding that Dr. Zhao penetrated the patient with his penis during the examination. Although the Court of Criminal Trial found Dr. Zhao not guilty of raping the patient, the civil tribunal found that he sexually assaulted the patient. How is this possible? It may be puzzling how this is possible after the criminal court found the person not guilty, but the civil trial determined that the doctor is not innocent. Let me explain the difference between criminal and civil lawsuits. A criminal acquittal cannot be used to automatically exonerate someone in a civil or professional context because the acquittal does not necessarily equate to factual innocence. It simply reflects the criminal court's conclusion about the evidence. This situation arises because criminal trials and civil proceedings operate under different legal standards, purposes, and burdens of proof. In criminal cases, the proof must be beyond a reasonable doubt, which is very strict. This is a high standard, meant to ensure that there is no reasonable possibility the accused is innocent. The evidence must be so convincing that there is no reasonable doubt about the accused's guilt, and it must be almost certain that the accused committed the crime. However, not guilty in a criminal case does not mean that the event didn't happen, or the accused is innocent. It simply means the criminal court couldn't be certain beyond a reasonable doubt. On the other hand, in civil cases, it's balance of probabilities, which is easier to meet. In other words, the evidence shows that something is more likely than not to be true and that there's a greater than 50% chance that the claim is true. This means the tribunal only needs to decide that it is more likely than not that the event happened. Civil trials provide an avenue for accountability when the criminal process falls short. The lower standard of proof makes it possible to hold someone liable for harm, even if they weren't convicted criminally. Double jeopardy, which prevents someone from being tried twice for the same crime, does not apply to civil trial. For example, in the O.J. Simpson case, also known as the trial of the century, which captured worldwide attention in the 90s, O.J. Simpson was acquitted of murder in the criminal trial but was later found liable for wrongful deaths of his ex-wife and her friend in a civil suit. He was ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages to their families. Civil and criminal matters are treated as separate legal pathways. To some of you, it can be confusing. Not guilty, but hold accountable for the wrongdoing? Yes, there are complex moral and legal dilemmas. The legal system operates within the constraints of human fallibility and the evidence available. Let me ask you questions about not guilty versus innocence. The criminal court found that Dr. Zhao is not guilty of sexual assault. However, the civil tribunal determined that he is not innocent. This raises the question of whether Dr. Zhao is truly innocent. Is it appropriate to suspend the doctor's career due to the likelihood or more than 50% chance that he sexually assaulted his patient? Leave comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful stories on legal cases.